Alright, settle in folks, because I'm about to show you something that'll rattle your bones. Ever wondered what it's like to call a graveyard home? Not for a spooky night, I mean there, day in, day out. Well, today we're heading to Navotas Cemetery in the Philippines, a place where life unfolds right on top of the final resting places of thousands. My name's D38, and I'm here to guide you through this extraordinary place. Right, let's kick things off with a big one. Imagine this, thousands of women, not just individuals but entire families, making their homes right there, on top of the tombs in Navotas. We're talking about mothers, fathers, kids, all living their lives in a city of the dead. This isn't some quirky lifestyle choice, mate. It's the harsh reality born from extreme housing inequality in Manila, so they find refuge where they can. And for these folks, that means the local cemetery. These aren't just temporary shelters either. We're talking about established little communities, with makeshift structures built over and around the concrete graves. You'll see laundry lines strung between ornate headstones, cooking pots bubbling away next to family mausoleums, and children's laughter echoing where you'd normally expect solemn silence. Now, if you thought living on graves was intense, hold on to your hats for this one. Childbirth, the miracle of life, happening on a stranger's tombstone. No hospital, no sterile delivery room, no medical professionals, just a thin sheet or cardboard over a grave. Lack of access to proper medical facilities is a massive issue. In Navotas Cemetery, formal healthcare is a distant dream. These strong women rely on traditional birth attendants or family support. This isn't a recent phenomenon, you know. Families have been calling Navotas Cemetery home for decades. We're talking about roots that run deep, not in soil, but amongst the concrete and marble of the graves. Some families have been here since the 1980s. That means there are children growing up now who are the third generation to know this place as their only home. Their grandparents may have been the first to settle here, their parents born and raised among the tombs, and now they too are part of this unique lineage. For these kids, playing hide-and-seek among mausoleums or learning their ABCs with tombstones as their backdrop is completely normal. It's their reality, the world they were born into. Life's big moments, the milestones we all cherish, they don't stop just because your address is a bit unusual. In Navotas Cemetery, celebrations like weddings, birthdays, and yes, even funerals for their own, often take place right there, on or among the tombstones. When you don't have access to formal venues, community halls, or even spacious homes, you make do with what you have. And what they have are the open spaces, the flat surfaces of the graves themselves. Imagine a birthday party for a child with a small cake, perhaps a few balloons, set up on a large flat tomb. Laughter and singing filling the air, a stark contrast to the usual quiet reverence of a cemetery. School children in neat uniforms with backpacks and books head to school. They spend their day learning and engaging. But at the end of the day, they return through Navotas Cemetery gates, back to the tombs that serve as their homes. It's a daily transition between two worlds. Alright, let's talk about some of the absolute basics of daily life, things we often take for granted, like having a private bathroom. In Navotas Cemetery, the reality of personal hygiene is a public affair, a daily challenge managed with ingenuity and a distinct lack of privacy. Women and children bathe out in the open, often using water hauled in buckets from communal drums or a shared tap, if one is even available and working. Imagine trying to maintain cleanliness and dignity when your washroom is a space between two graves, perhaps with a piece of nylon sheeting strung up for a semblance of privacy. Makeshift stalls are created, offering minimal cover, as residents go about their daily ablutions. So how do people earn a living in a place like Navotas Cemetery? Well, for many, their livelihood is directly tied to the very nature of their surroundings. A significant number of residents work as tomb cleaners, caretakers, and even corpse handlers. It's essential work, often overlooked, but vital to the functioning of the cemetery and to the families who have loved ones buried there. They provide a service that is both practical and deeply respectful. These aren't glamorous jobs by any stretch. Motherhood is a journey of immense love and sacrifice, no matter where you are. But imagine raising a baby, a tiny, vulnerable human being, in Navotas Cemetery. We're talking about motherhood without the security of 4 solid walls and a roof, without a nursery, without easy access to clean water or electricity. These mothers are raising their children amidst the elements, enduring scorching heat, torrential rain, and sometimes even the ash and smoke from nearby fires or cremations. You'll see diapers hanging to dry on lines strung between crosses, a poignant symbol of new life in a place of remembrance. When you live in a place like Navotas Cemetery, you often exist in a sort of grey area outside the formal structures of society. This can mean little to no official protection from law enforcement. Without legal addresses or sometimes even proper identification, residents can find themselves vulnerable, with limited recourse if things go wrong. The police might not regularly patrol these areas, or their presence might be inconsistent at best. This lack of official security means the community has had to develop its own ways of keeping safe. Despite immense hardships and daily struggles, women in Navotas Cemetery maintain their dignity through personal appearance. They dress neatly, keep their clothes clean, and wear lipstick or comb their hair with care. It's about holding on to a sense of self and pride. These small acts of self-care are vital for morale. One of the most profound challenges for the residents of Navotas Cemetery is their invisibility in the eyes of the state. Many lack official documentation, no birth certificates, no IDs, no registered addresses. This isn't just a bureaucratic hurdle, it's a systemic denial of their very existence in many ways, and it has far-reaching consequences for their lives and their futures. Without these crucial documents, accessing basic public services becomes incredibly difficult, if not impossible. Imagine trying to enroll your child in a formal school without a birth certificate, or trying to get a legitimate job without an ID. Some residents offered relocation to government housing choose to return to Navotas Cemetery. You'd think any formal housing would be better than living on a tomb, right? But these sites are far from jobs, schools, and community support. A concrete house can mean isolation, loss of income, and disrupted education. The cost of commuting can negate the benefits of free housing. The lack of physical security in a place like Navotas Cemetery, with no fences in many areas and inconsistent police presence, creates a particularly dangerous environment for young girls. Mothers live in a state of constant vigilance, acutely aware of the potential threats their daughters face. Protecting them from harm, especially from sexual abuse and exploitation, is a primary and deeply stressful concern. With dwellings that are often open and easily accessible, and with pathways that can be dark and isolated, the risk is ever present. Mothers often take extreme measures to safeguard their daughters. Here's a stark illustration of Manila's extreme urban inequality, a tale of 2 cities existing side by side. Many of the women living in Navotas Cemetery work during the day in the homes of wealthy families in other parts of Manila. They travel from their makeshift shelters on Tombstones to clean luxurious houses, care for the children of affluent employers, and cook meals in modern kitchens. Then, at the end of their workday, they leave these comfortable, often opulent surroundings, and return to the cemetery. They trade air conditioning for open air, plush beds for hard concrete, and private bathrooms for communal washing spots. Now, after hearing all these challenges, it would be easy to see Navotas Cemetery only as a place of hardship. But that would be missing a crucial part of the story: the incredible strength, ingenuity, and spirit of the people who live there. With little to no government support, these residents, particularly the women, have taken it upon themselves to build a real, functioning community from the ground up. They haven't just passively accepted their circumstances. They've actively worked to improve them in any way they can. They've formed their own informal schools or learning centers to ensure their children get some education. So there you have it, folks. 15 pretty heavy, jaw-dropping facts about life in Navotas Cemetery. It's a lot to take in, I know. It's like finding out there's a whole other realm, not on Asgard, but right here on Midgard Earth, where the rules of life are just different. These people, they're not just surviving, they're living with a kind of grit and spirit that could give even the strongest Avenger a run for their money.